Hi, let's take a look at the subject of targeted marketing. Now, as we mentioned before, the mortgage market is buoyant. Targeted, this one's called targeted marketing. The mortgage market is buoyant at the moment. Most mortgage brokers don't have any time for marketing because they're so busy dealing with new inquiries, which is a great way of being, isn't it? Here's a joke for you. How many corporate trainers does it take to change a light bulb? The answer is just the one, of course, but all the others will say I can do that too. And that's a bit of an in-house joke. But the point behind that joke is that a lot of corporate trainers, what I do for a living, when times get tough, can actually deliver training on any topic you could ever bear mention. But of course they won't do it justice. They can look it up on the internet and work it out. So in times of recession or downturn, when business isn't as good as it could be, some people who are selling their products or marketing can put their hands to anything, and that's very, very dangerous to do that as well, because that dilutes your message, dilutes your brand. Now the message here is, if you are going to market yourself, then you'll need to diversify. Of course you will, because in a recession or downturn you may not find enough businesses in your targeted areas. So you'll need to diversify a little bit, but be careful how you diversify, because there's lots of people that say they can do that, or I can do that, I'll do this, or I'll do that, because they're so desperate for income. Therefore their marketing message gets completely diluted and they start marketing everywhere. So let's just give you an analogy here. My partner Shelley used to play darts, and so let's put a dartboard up for you. With the 20 on there as well for you, the dartboard for you. And she used to play darts when her mum and dad owned a pub, and what used to happen, she used to come home from school when she was 14, 15, and my mum would draft her into the darts team that night because there wasn't enough people to fill the team. So she was actually pretty good at darts. And she was saying to me the other day when we were playing darts, she said, what do you want to do? She said, is you want to aim for the left-hand side of the board, if you're not very good at dart playing like me. If you're good at dart playing, you go for the 20, don't you, every time? But if you're not particularly good, it phases off by a foot or two, then aim for the left-hand side of the board. Because apparently there are more high-scoring numbers, higher numbers on this side of the board, high numbers. So if you aim for that part of the dartboard and you go there, chances are you're going to get a decent couple of scores. Or if you aim here, you're going to get a decent couple of scores because there's more high numbers to the left. If you aim over here, there's lots of low numbers. There are some high numbers. For example, you've got 19 down there, which is a high number. So if you aim for that, great. But if you don't get the 19, I think you get a 5 or some very small numbers either side. Likewise with a 20, I think there's a 1 there and there's a 5 there. So if you aim for 20 and get it, great. But if your aim's not that good, you're going to get a very low number. And that's the point about targeted marketing. If you're going to do targeted marketing, then make sure you diversify slightly so that you can look at different areas that are correlated with what you do. If you decide to market everywhere, then you're not going to have enough spend. So make sure that your diversified activities are slightly correlated, so when you aim for your marketplace, the other areas of business may well crop up. And that's sort of the message. Make sure your marketing isn't machine gun. In other words, try and hit everything and everybody in your marketing message. Make it more sort of sniper rifle targeted. If you miss it slightly, you'll go off and you'll still get correlated activities that are your key area as well. Don't machine gun. Another example for you to help you understand this one. Say, for example, you were a later life mortgage advisor and you were selling to the later life market for equity release and those things. And you decided to use Facebook as your marketing tool, and you use Facebook targeted ads, who are pretty good. So you targeted people over the age of 65 living in the southwest of England on income of £50,000 or more, or income of £20,000 or more, or whatever. So you targeted, and you can on Facebook, so quite a precise target. So that's your marketplace. So the input you get from that marketing are people that you can deal with. But let's just say that somebody in that network refers you on to their son who's in his 50s and wants to talk about later life advice. he's not quite old enough for that marketplace, but you might still talk to them. Again, that's another message there for you. Do your marketing to get your input, but if somebody comes to you in another area, then do accept that as well. That's not a bad thing to do. So your marketing needs to be targeted. If somebody comes to you asking for any other kind of business, then you'll be happy to deal with that along the way. As Seth Godin said, and I'll quote this for you, Seth Godin, great man, he said, the best way to make a hit is to build something for the smallest viable audience and make it so good that people tell their peers all about it. So if you're in the later life market in the southwest area, for people living in Truro, for example, you'll get so good at that, people will refer you to their peers. So the more fine the marketing message is to a particular audience, the more likely you're going to be referred. And that's the best way of making a hit as well. But be prepared to accept other business, but just don't market for it. It dilutes your message, doesn't it? Be prepared to accept other business when it gets referred to you. Of course, you can say yes or no to it, can't you? But be careful, of course. Everybody can change a light bulb. Everybody can learn to do that, and that's the dangerous thing about it, even corporate trainers like myself. Marketing message for you. Hope it's been useful.